what we test, what we do in future, and if there is any bug, what we how to fix and how to resolve the bug. We are discuss about in test plan
Okay. Okay.
and
Good.
how to handle the bug and what is the tool using that fixing the bug.
Cool. Cool. Correct. Anyone else?
And we also estimate the resources and the timelines.
Mm-hmm.
Is what other than what Veeresh said, I would like to add.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anyone
In a
else?
project, how many in a project, how many need in a particular project?
Okay.
There are intimated.
Okay. Okay. Anything else anyone wants to add on?
Yeah, as per the requirements of the client, we will write the test. We will plan what are the test cases we have to write in this test plan, Amitabh.
Okay.
Precisely telling that what to test, when to test, whom to test, and how to test. Precisely, I'm telling what is test plan.
Full. Okay. I think everyone is correct, but just we have to add everyone's answer all together. So test plan, as the name suggests, it's a plan for the testing. Okay. So what happens? Any company goes through a testing process, right? So any application is getting developed or has been already developed, they have to test this application to make it bug free. Correct. So there is no defect or failure comes later from the production side. So to avoid all this, so we plan everything out, right? I'm going to a trip. Maybe I'm going to a trip to Ladakh. So I'll plan my everything that I will stay here. I will have the fooding here. I'll sleep there. I will visit this place and on these days. Correct. So just like that, there would be a planning done for the testing. So which will help us to like have a better coverage. So we know about the test coverage, right? Can anyone tell me what is test coverage?
Like every scenario must be covered. I mean, the
Yeah.
test cases must be covered for every scenario.
Yes.
Every
So basically,
possible scenarios, every
yes.
possible scenarios documented.
Yeah. So basically the test coverage something is like whatever the things we can test on a particular application, whatever the requirement is there, whatever the enhancements are there, based on those requirements, based on those enhancements, if we have covered everything out. Are you guys getting any noise from my side? Just let me know once.
No, it's clear.
Any noise?
No,
No,
it's clear.
no.
Okay, cool.
No, sir,
Thank you.
it's clear.
Thank you. Thank you. So whatever the type of requirements or enhancements we have, based on that, have we covered everything or not? If we have covered everything possible testing areas for an application, that would be huge, like test coverage. So ideally, more than 95% of test coverage is called a good test coverage. Like I had, uh, see, no one can give 100% of test coverage. That's very rare scenarios. These days AIs are coming up slowly, so they can slowly pick it up. There are some AIs which like if you give a particular scenario or do the flow once, they will give you the possible test cases. Even their test coverage is more than higher 95% always. Manually to keep the test coverage above 95% is also like very rare. But still, so to have a test coverage, it's always better to have a greater good plan, right? So I want to do that this day. I want to plan it like this. I want to go ahead with like that. So that is what we call a test plan. Okay. So test plan actually like assembles of a lot of like components. It's not a single thing like, okay, test plan is this and that. So when I asked you guys actually like said everything all together. So maybe I'll share my screen 1 second. I just opened a particular point where from I can show you guys. Just a second. Let me know once my screen is visible.
No, it's visible, Amitabh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So you can see here, right, test plan attributes. So I have opened a very known site. I think you guys are known about Java Deployment. So if you see here, there are almost 16 components altogether there, where from we'll be covering a test coverage. So if anyone asks you these all 16 are must required, no, it depends on project to project. Okay, some projects may not have all these 16 pointers required. Some projects may require even more than this. These 16s are just like, I'm just to give an overview to you. Okay, it's not like necessary. Even I'll show you two templates which I have with me. Some template will have only 5 to 6 pointers. Some template will have maybe 19, 20 pointers. Okay. So test plan attributes, first one is objective. So objective means everyone knows like why we are preparing the test plan, or for which application we are preparing the test plan. So what we want to cover through that application. So if I have an application, for that application, which part I want to cover. So see, today Amazon is already there, Flipkart is already there, right? But they are all constantly developing a new feature day-to-day basis. So whenever they are developing a new feature, so their first priority would be what? Whatever the new feature has been added to test that out, right? On top of that, they also have to do a regression test, correct? You guys know about regression, right? Whenever a new feature or the code fix has happened, for that, if anything old code or old feature has broken or not, so checking that part is also a very important for that objective. Okay, so objective will define, okay boss, for this particular testing scope or for this particular testing, I'm going ahead with only this part of this application, or maybe this applications, this particular features. Okay, so maybe Amazon is launching the great summer sale, so they will be testing thoroughly the great summer sale part, whatever the products they're putting in on that for that sale, whatever the things they want to do, how the cards and payments and everything is working. These are old features only, card payments, card, all these things, but still they have to check for the great summer sale, right? Because there would be a huge load on them. So that's how objective would be always defined. On top of that, there would be scope. Now, what is a scope? Can anyone tell me what is a scope?
How much we can do? Like, what is
Like
the
what
scope
area covered?
with our okay? With, sorry.
No issues. Go ahead. Like whatever you say. Like I just want to see. Anyone else? Scope? Anyone?
Till
Mohana,
what
you also you can.
extent we can perform this like boundaries?
Yes,
I mean,
scope is. Yeah, tell me. Go
after
ahead.
identifying the objective, I mean, how much of the, I mean, application we can develop in these, it must be there in the scope, Amita.
Yes. Okay. Correct.
Something
Okay.
which is relevant.
Correct. This is also correct. Like very simple English. Correct. Scope. So two things you have to remember. Scope means boundaries. Okay. First. So I think someone told boundaries. If you remember this scope means boundaries, it will help you in programming language also. Okay. So scope means boundaries. Second is something which is relevant. Okay. If you merge these two together, what happens? See, I have defined my objective. Okay. That for my this application, I want to go ahead to do the testing or to prepare the test plan. But scope will define, scope actually are two types, in scope, out of scope. Okay. In scope means whatever is going in for this testing. Maybe I'm testing the Amazon Great India Festival, as I said. Okay. So in scope would be like whatever the things I have added in the Great Indian Festival, the cart page, the payment page, the thank you page, all these things. Out of scope would be maybe I don't want to focus on Amazon Fresh. I don't want to focus on maybe Amazon search bar, Amazon login, and these things. Okay, maybe I don't want to focus. So scope is something which I will take care while testing for this period or for this particular time. Like even what happens, like one application there, see, one particular company will have easily in number of testers, right? So I will divide my team. This team is for degradation, this team will for smoke, this team for the sanity. Okay, so for the smoke team, when I'm preparing the test plan, I will give the scope only for them, right? For the sanity team, whatever the modules needs a sanity testing, only those modules will come into the in scope. Every other things will go to the out scope. Okay, scope defines the boundaries or where like objective was a like area, your locality. Scope is something in your house. You are identifying which particular houses you need to take care of, not the whole area. Getting my point? It's more of a sorting of the modules or the features which you want to test out. Any doubts?
No, sir.
No.
No,
Clear,
no, sir.
right, for everyone?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes.
So this is
Yeah, yeah.
objective, this is scope. Now we have the test methodologies. Can anyone tell me what are the test methodologies we have?
Functional and
White box,
White
White
box,
white
box,
box,
black box,
black,
black box,
black
and
box,
gray
gray
box
box.
gray
White box, gray
methodology.
box test.
Okay. And so
Uh,
what do you think will happen here? Like for this, after this scope, test methodologies, how it's included in a test plan? Anyone wants to like throw an arrow?
in which environment we are going to test this one? We can plan this in this methodology. Is it correct, Amita? I mean, in the QA environment, in the whether we have to check this one in an QA environment or in an product pre-prod environment or a production environment. We will check in this
Okay.
methodology.
Okay. 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 Uh, like partially correct. Yeah. Anyone else?
It will describe what kind of techniques we'll have to follow in which cases. Either it go to black box or white box.
Mm-hmm. 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 Correct. Anyone else? Okay. So I'll go ahead. Test methodology, as you guys said, let's consider the white box testing, black box testing, gray box testing. Okay. So you guys know, right? How all these three are defined. Okay. So just I'm giving you an assumption. Just consider there is an application. Something new has been developed. Okay. When something new has been developed, what are the types of testing you need to do? Anyone else? Something new has been added for that application. What are the different types of testing you will
I
do?
mean,
Unit
a
testing.
smoke and regression we will do. Smoke and regression we will do.
Okay. Anyone else?
In general, we do functional and non-functional testing, which includes
Okay.
UI and performance testing.
See, I said like if anything new has been developed for any application, what are the different types of testing that
Then
would be
include
done for that new part? Yeah.
I think
only
Sanity.
exploratory.
smoke testing will do.
Sanity
Correct.
As
Like
integration.
whatever
it's a
you
entry
guys,
level testing.
yes, whatever you guys are saying, everything is true. But you guys are missing a very important pointer that whenever any new thing comes into the picture, so first developer will do the unit testing. Until unless unit testing is done, it will not come to you, right? Basically should not
Yeah.
come. Some companies doesn't use the unit testing at all, but that's a different scenario. But the scenario should be whenever developer is developing something, he himself will do a unit testing. Once the unit testing is done, on top of that, slowly it will come to you as a build verification test, then smoke testing, then regression, then sanity, then some exploratory at the last. So like that it happens, right? So see, whatever the phases I told you here, if you see some phase, like one phase, particularly unit testing was of white box testing, correct? Some others were in the black box testing, correct? Or maybe some gray box testing is also there. Are you guys getting me? So
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
according to your requirement,
One
Yeah.
minute, Pamitaba. Sorry to interrupt you. Actually, after a developer the side and we have, after writing the code, he will move into the testing environment. This test plan and all we will do in this the testing environment. No, why again we have to do that unit level of testing here?
No, test plan is not something that how can I make you understand? Okay, test plan is not something that is defined only for the QAs. Okay, test plan will involve even
Okay,
the product manager himself. The product manager
okay,
would be
okay,
there,
okay,
developers would be there, testers would be there. Who prepares it?
okay,
Mostly test leads or test managers. That's true. Okay, but test
okay,
plan is submitted at the first when we are having a sprint planning, like the product will come into the picture. The planning is happening itself. While the planning is happening,
okay,
test plan, like developer gives a plan from his side, product manager gives a plan of his side, like this time the product will be developed, I'll deploy the product on this date. This is product team's plan. Developer's plan is
okay, okay,
I'll develop this product for this long, then QAs will give me the bugs, I'll fix these bugs for these many days, then my product is ready. QA gives a plan from their side, which is called test plan. Okay, but it's something QA is giving, that's not solely means that QA only would be involved, because see, QA's responsibility is to make sure there is no bugs in the product. That's it. So to make sure that unit testing is very important. Okay, if any product doesn't have a unit testing, that means a lot of loose bugs will come to your picture when you will be first doing the wheel verification test or smoke test. Smoke test only will fail. So that's why unit testing is very important. And if it needs to involve your developer, you will involve your developer. Okay. It's not QA is doing, developer only will be doing, but the test plan will mention in the test methodologies that I
okay,
have white box testing, I have black box testing, I have gray box testing,
okay,
all these three configured. Now in details, I will
okay,
again cover in the test methodology section itself that black box testing covers means unit testing done by the developer when the feature has been developed. Black box testing will cover in details in that section only, that I'll cover the build verification test, regression testing, sanity testing, on top of the feature, whatever after a good result of sanity testing. Okay, so what are the methodologies I am involving to ensure there is a
okay, okay.
good coverage and no defects in the product? That's what I'm mentioning in the test plan.
Okay.
It doesn't matter who is getting involved. Even while
Okay.
preparing the test plan, there would be a stage where I have written the test cases, everything is done, I'll send my test cases to the product team for a review, and that is important. So product managers and product team is also involved there, but that would be a part of test plan too. Okay.
Okay. You were telling that, in the test plan, we are also giving information that whatever the unit tests that are done by the developers also we will mention there like that, no?
How can I say?
Uh,
Yeah,
mm,
listen, you are planning a tour. Okay. So if you
uh,
are planning a tour, you will say that I will board my train from here, and from Bengaluru, I'll reach Chennai in the evening. That is your plan, correct? You are preparing a test, like your tour planner, correct? In between, driver is involved, right? The train driver, the pilot, who is involved. He has to drive the train so that you can successfully execute your test cases. Sorry, my your tour. So, but see, in your tour planner, you have mentioned that I have to board the train. I have to reach Chennai by evening. This is your plan, correct? This is your entry criteria, or that's how you can start your tour. Once you reach Chennai, then only you can start your tour, correct? For testers
uh,
also, until
uh,
unless something is done or the unit testing is done, we don't start ahead with our testing too. That's the entry criteria for the testers. Okay,
okay, okay, okay.
like I don't know if I confused you more, but others, are you guys with me, or no, whatever he is saying is gone, no need to listen? Are you guys getting me, whatever I said?
Yes, Amita.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What I'm saying, to ensure the products like stableness and the product is defect free, if you need to involve the developer in your test plan, the developer also has a part to do his own testing, which is called unit testing. You have to mention that too, because test plan covers the whole testing for this application. It's not from only QA point of view. Clear that out, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. So test methodologies will involve like what are the different types of testing methodologies, or in details what are the different types of testing we are going to do for this particular application. Now it comes to the approach, how you're going to approach. As I said, so basically here I want to add two more things. Like how can I say, so approach means like I have decided the test methodologies, right? So for the test methodologies, how we are going to do step by step, like this particular unit testing would be done first on this whole thing, then we'll do the smoke on this particular pointers. We'll define out that for this scope, on this scope, these are the following things we need to test out, and for these following things, what are the different types of testing we are going to approach. Maybe one particular feature needs a smoke and regression both. One particular feature may need a smoke, sanity, both, and some features only need exploration testing. So we are going to test our approach on this. Okay, let's remove the assumption as of now. Assumption is a, like I can't explain right now. Risk factor is very important. Okay, why risk factor? Because just suppose you have planned your tour that this will happen, this will happen. I already Chennai on evening, and I'll start the next day my journey, and everything will go smooth. Within 5 days, I'll be back to Bangalore after visiting Chennai and all those places. Risk factor is important. Why? You have to consider something may go wrong. Like the developer may give you a delay of the build, like he's getting delayed to develop the build itself. There might be a risk. There might be a factors like your teammates are on leave, like the testers on leave. It might get delayed. Even like the clarity of the requirement, like whenever it came to you, the some requirement got sudden changes because of the shareholders or something. So then again it will go to the development, there will be a backlog. So there will be always risk. These risk factors generally, like the more you will know for the application, like that's why the, as I said, right, test plans mostly created by the leads or the managers. So because they have a huge picture of this application, how it is going to the market, how it happens, so they can assess the risk in far a better angle. And the more you can cover the risk factors, the more your test plan is stable, because you know whatever may come, I have a good I have a good planning ready. If something comes, like you haven't covered any risk and later the risk comes, you are the one to blame because you haven't thought of any risk, and that's why the deployment and the planning is failing right now. You have to plan again at those crucial moments. That's why the risk factor is very important. And my mitigation plan, let's leave this right now. Roles and responsibility, this is very important. That's why I was telling you, right? So it's not like only the QA roles should be involved. QA roles should be there. On top of that, there would be developers also, engineering manager, product team, everyone would be involved. Like here I'll mention roles. Developer role should be to give to do the unit testing and to fix the bugs. That would be also their part. Then QA leads will have the what part? QA leads will have the part that they will review, peer review the test cases. QA members will write the test cases, execute the test case, write the automation scripts, like that. QA leads will review their test cases, will like give the comments, and QA members will cooperate those comments on their test cases. Product team will at last check the test coverage if they are satisfied with all the test case has been written by the QA team. So that's how different teams who for any product, different teams would be involved here, and that's how the roles and responsibility comes into the picture. Now schedule is something of a timeline. So you have to put the timeline, like product team has giving the product demo on this day. So you are getting the product structure on some particular day. From there, developer will take 15 days. On those 15 days, the QA also will start writing the test cases, saying the Figma. Figma means the structure, basically, like how the pages would be. And then after 15 days, you will get the application on hand. Then if anything got missed, you will add those test cases for 1 or 2 days. Then at the last, you will start peer reviewing the test case for more 2 days. Whatever, if some one of you has wrote, you that would be checked by me. If I have written something, that would be checked by you guys. So that is called peer review, like peer review. It happens in inter team. So now review has happened, then it will go to the QA lead. QA lead will have a check of the all the test case for 1 day. Then it will go to the product team. Product team will review for 2 days. Then all those reviews comments will be cooperated again within 1 day. So like that, you have to make a schedule. Like when it's kind of a date planner. Okay, like if I show you, it's kind of a date planner. 1 second. I think I have one. Yeah, you can see these are the activities. So how date wise we are planning. The same day, if we have 4 activities, how many persons are involved in the braces, and that's how we try to put out. Okay, we always do that. This is important to do actually. See, this is important. So that's what I'm saying, that this schedule is very important. Now defect tracking. Defect tracking is something, it's not like you have already tested. Okay, defect tracking is would be the part where you are going to take the steps, how we are going to track, what are the steps you are going to follow. Like you might say that, why boss, you already have a Zira or Bugzilla, like those tools where you can put your defect and you can track easily, right? But no, actually, like if I show you, 1 second. See, there are a number of fields, right? The component, the versions, even this issue has emerged after the company app update or not. There are a number of fields here. Even the keywords are there, a number of keywords. So maybe this defect tracking would be what? Whenever you get a bug, you will be logging in the Bugzilla. True. What are the fields mandatorily you have to fill to make this sorted? What are the keywords you have to fill? Like if you have got a bug, you must have to put the keyword as release. This release keyword later will signify that this is a bug from that new feature. So how you want to track your defects, because or else there would be a number of bugs, right? Like if you see here, there'll be a number of bugs. How will you find your particular one bug which which has occurred for that particular feature? So that's why defect tracking is important. This defect tracking will particularly state those things, like the bugs would be uh, logged in the Bugzilla. The bugs will have a header as new feature NF. These bugs would be given a keyword as release. These bugs will have a mandatory field where the tester has to mention for which particular module in this feature it's breaking. The testers must have to give a screenshot. The testers must have to give a video recording. So how you want to track your defect, how you want to keep a track that, okay, this many bugs has came for this particular feature, that is important. Getting my point, right? Hello. You guys are so silent.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Please try to reply, okay? Don't be dead people. Okay. So that's what called defect tracking, because parallelly you are testing on a new feature, but the old features are already always being tested, always the bugs are getting raised, right? Somehow you have to separate your particular this feature bugs. That's why this, maybe for this particular new feature there would be a different component. So like that. So how you want to track your defects, those things should be mentioned there. Okay, and that has to be followed by all the QA members. Now test environments. I think someone was saying at the first when we started with the test plan. This is very important. Okay, test environments. Test environments will describe like in which environment how you are gonna test. Like what do you mean by? So basically, if you see, there is always mostly, not always, I would say, mostly there would be 3 types of environment. Okay, or 4 types of environment. One is dev environment. One is test environment. Third is staging environment. Fourth is production. Correct? Mostly companies doesn't ideally use all 4. Okay, even right now in which client I am in, they use only 3: dev, staging, production. Okay, dev environment is the one where you can do all the development plus testing. Staging is for like at the last kind of a UAT, you can say, and then production. That's it. So test environment is something where we will mention that, okay, this feature would be tested in this environment. It can be development, it can be staging, it can be testing, it can be, or not production, sorry, these 3, any of these 3. So any of these three environments. Now we'll give the URLs like Dev Amitabh. This environment is open for this particular feature because I don't want to deploy this new feature to every dev environment, right? It would be a patch. I'll give to particular environments only so that we can test it out there. So all other environments should not get affected. Getting my point, right? So which environments are open for this particular new feature to take on? These environments with their username, with their password, and what are the features we can test there. This test environments would have all the details where we need to develop the testing. That's it. Now we have the entry and exit criteria. This is very important. This is an interview question. Like they will not ask you about the test plan, anything. They will just solely ask you what is entry criteria, what is exit criteria. Anyone have any idea on this? I just mentioned few minutes back actually, a little bit. What is entry criteria? What is exit criteria? Hello. I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Amitabh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So can I get an answer? Whatever, like whatever you feel. Plain English meaning that
Whatever
also will
input
work.
Requirements are
we
clear,
got from
that would
client
be
that are like
Not together,
entry
not together,
criteria.
not together, not together. Wait, one by one. Yeah, Sri, go ahead.
What are the things we will get from
Execution
client?
and testing closing. Testing execution, that is a entry criteria.
Okay.
Test
if
execution
everything
is
is ready
completed, that is
to,
Okay.
I think if all the requirements are clear and if the uh, environment is set ready for the test cases implementation to begin, that would be an entry criteria. And exit,
No, I don't want to have the pointers. What do you mean by entry criteria and exit criteria? That's my question.
Where we have to start the testing and all, that one we call it as an entry criteria, and I mean exit criteria. I mean when we have to finish this one, I mean testing, that one is an exit criteria.
Correct.
closing.
Entry criteria, exit criteria solely means entry criteria means that you have all this dependency previously, right? Objective scope, test methodology, approach, assumption, risk, schedule, roles and test environment, defect tracking, risk. After all this, everything is set up, everything is done. Entry criteria means when boss, I can start my testing. QA team will start the testing based on that. Okay. When QA team can start their testing, that particular criteria would be called entry criteria. And when QA team will hand over the product, okay, boss, it's ready to go to the market. Those criterias which needs to be fulfilled is called exit criteria. Okay. Entry criteria can involve multiple things, as you guys were saying, like test case has been documented and reviewed. Test environments are ready. Unit test has a good result, more than 80% of success rate. And the product requirements has been freezed, like there will be no new things coming anymore. Product requirements are not changing anymore. So these type of things, when all these checkboxes are checked or clicked, okay, everything has been fulfilling, then QA team will start their testing, right? Or else if you consider test case are not reviewed, that means again new test case will come, again you have to involve, you can't start the testing. Unit test doesn't have a good result, you can't do anything. Test environment is not ready, you don't know where to test itself. And what the fourth pointer I said? Come on. So all these 4 pointers, anyhow, if any of them is missing, QA team can't start their testing, and that's why it's called entry criteria. Okay. And what is exit criteria? Exit criteria is something when QA team will say the product is ready to go to the market, and we are giving a sign off. That is exit criteria. That means QA team is stopping the testing on that particular feature. When it may happen, the RTM is 100%. You don't know what is RTM, I know, but RTM is 100%. We have a good test coverage of 95% or more. All the bugs, whatever has been logged, has been fixed and retested. Everything is verified, and all the test cases has been executed, and everything is passing. The pass test case percent is 100%. So depending all those conditions, that would be exit criteria. That means all these things has been worked and I know there is no defect right now, it can go to the market. That is exit criteria. Okay, clear about entry criteria, exit criteria?
Yeah, Amitabh.
Cool. Thank you. Now test automation. So all these things has been done. So in between there would be test automation, right? Test automation depends, as I said, right? These 16 templates may not come into the picture for your company, for your client. Like some companies still not don't do the automation, right? They are only going for the manual. So this part will not come at all. But the test automation itself is a test planning required. Okay. Like we have the TCLC, then we have the ALC and PLC, right? Automation lifecycle, bug lifecycle. So like that, test automation itself requires a test planning itself. Like uh, I'm just giving an overview. So you have written 100 manual test cases. Do you think all 100 manual test cases can be automated? No, right?
No,
For automation
no.
also there would be in scope and out scope. So what are the test cases is feasible, what are the test cases are non-feasible? For the feasible test cases, what are the tools and like same thing, what are the tools, libraries we are going to use, what framework we are going to use, what are the reports we are going to use, and how we are going to write our test scripts, what are the feature we are going to introduce, and how many days it will take for, and which particular team or which particular persons in the team would be involved in particular modules. The feature involves a number of modules. Me, Amitabh, will do the login module. Saujana will do the cart module. Like that, there would be assignees, and upon the assignees, they will be giving the timeline. How many days it will take for them to automate. For the cart module has 50 test cases. Saujana will say I need 5 days. So those 5 days would be marked. After the 5 days, we'll have a report. The report will say whatever the things has failed. Again, it will go to the bug fixes. So like the test automation is a part in the test planning, which itself has a test planning of its own. Okay, test planning is a huge thing for automation also. So let's keep that aside. If some like see test plan when you are planning in the automation, this 13th pointer, you will just write that once the manual test case has been stabilized and has been passed or more than 90%, then we'll start the test automation with the feasible test cases. And you will have a rough planner there. But test automation need itself a test automation planner. Okay. Now effort estimation. As I said, effort estimation is very important because you may say, like you are a lead, you may say, boss, my team will do all these features within 3 days, which is not feasible at all, which actually is going to take 10 days for your team. You have to consider that, right? Because how we consider that, basically it's a rough estimation. I can show you. We consider, see, these are the hours actually. Okay, we consider on the base of 8 hours of working day. So how many resources you have based on that. Getting my point? So if I have 5 resources, that means I have 40 hours in my hand. And then I'll consider this resource can write test cases, maybe 5 test cases per hour. Then all my resource can write 200 test cases a day. Correct? Getting my point?
Yes.
What I'm saying, just
Yeah.
suppose you have 5 resources. Okay, I have 5 resources, that means 8 hours each, right? That means 40 hours. Now I know my resources can write 5 test cases per hour. So at the end of the day, I will have 200 test cases, correct? If I know
Yes.
I will have approximate of 1000 test cases, approximation. That's where that part was there. Now you guys will map it slowly, I think. 1 second, I'm assumption. You remember this part? So this part will involve, like I already have 1000 test case assumption. Like from this feature as a test lead with my experience, I can give you there'll be 1000 test cases plus minus 500. That is also possible. We'll keep the buffer. So 200 test case like that, my team will take how many days? 5 days, right?
Yes.
5 days.
Fine.
Because there is plus
Yes, yes.
minus 500, I'm saying that means I'll also keep the buffer for them. I don't want to suffocate them. I'll keep 2 days more buffer. That's how I'll give us 7 days of approximation. If that product manager comes to me and say, boss, do it in 3 days, why are you taking this much time? I'll have a proper document. That's why the test plan is required. I'll say to the product manager, boss, you see, I have 5 resources, 8 hours per day, 40 hours, they write 5 test cases per hour, 200 test cases. You tell me how can 1000 test cases can be done in 3 days? Getting my point? How manager also tackles the higher authorities. That's how it happens.
Yes. Yeah.
The test plan is
Yeah,
required.
Amitabh.
Yes.
That's why.
Yeah,
So
it's clear.
that's how we give a proper estimation, and this estimation is required not only for test case writing. Now execution, I have a pointer that, okay boss, my team takes maybe 30 test cases per hour for the execution. Never possible, okay? Just I'm saying a rough figure. It actually goes around 8 or 9. 30 test cases per hour. So if I have to execute 1000 test cases, so 30 cases per hour means how much I am getting? 1200, right? So I will say, okay boss, my team can do it within 1 day. Basically it happens, but I'll take 5 days as a buffer, zero point 0.5. So I'll say 1.5 day for the execution only. So I am writing for 7 days, 1.5 day of execution. So 8.5 days is covered. Now I have to cover the bug logging. Bug logging takes a huge time. It may think like I'll go to Jira and type the everything and it is gone. No, because you have to take the screenshot, you have to upload, you have to take a video, you have to upload, you have to give a proper description in the bugs, you have to give a good view or the summary, so that from the name itself developer can identify what is the bug and how it happens. So all these things actually takes time. For the bug logging, I'll estimate the timeline, bug fixes, and then retesting also you have to do, right? Retesting, I'll take the timeline. All this together will give a figure. The testing team required this many days to complete this. That's how the delivery happens. Clear? That is called effort estimation. Now deliverable, this is also very important. Deliverable means at the end of the day of all this program, all this planner, what are you going to deliver, boss? Higher management will come and say, what are you going to deliver? So what will be our deliverables? We'll give a test case sheet, right?
Document.
Where documented test cases. We'll give the RTM. You guys don't know RTM. I'm very sorry. Today we're getting late already. Uh, RTM. And
It's a
we'll give a
requirement traceability matrix which has
correct. Correct.
scenarios written.
Yes. So we'll give the RTM, we'll give the test planner, we'll give a defect free application, we'll give a bug list, wherever the bug has occurred, so that later we have covered those pointers very highly. That's why the bug we have got, right? Later it will not come from there. So that's how we'll give a report that, okay, among these my test case, this test case had passed, this my test case got deferred, this my test case got failed. So these things genuinely comes in the test deliverables. Clear? So that's an overview of a test plan. I'm saying again, all these pointers may or may not come into picture depending on the clients, depending on the situation, depending on the feature. But this is a whole. And if you see, all these pointers are interrelated, correct? You're getting me, right? Because if you miss something out, anyhow you have to cover it on the next pointer, or else you can't go ahead. So that's why it's important. And maybe I'll show you the template. So let's see a simple template first. So if you see, it has the scope, in scope, out of scope, quality objective, roles and responsibilities, test levels, bug triage. That's the just English term. Okay, fancy English term. Don't worry about it. Suspension criteria, resumption requirements, test completeness, testing tools, test environments. So if you see scopes, in scope, quality objective, ensure that, so like what is your objective basically, what you want to do, why you want to do, application under test, function on functional requirement, go live without any defects and all. Roles and responsibilities, you can see here, right? QA analyst, test manager, configuration manager, developers, installation team. Installation teams means those DevOps, okay, amongst others. Test methodology, what are the different methodologies? I don't know why they have given this is software development methodology. Anyhow, so test levels, bug triage, what are the different types of bugs, and how you want to see, define define the type of resolution for each bug, prioritize the bugs, determine a schedule to be fixed bugs, and to completeness, test deliverables, whatever giving, test plan, test cases, requirement testability matrix, bug report, test strategy, test matrix, customer sign off. What are the testing tools you are taking? Automation tool, bug tracking tool, test environment, Office, MS Exchange, Windows 8, and as I said, like the environments, links, credentials, these things are also needed. This is very simple, okay? Like this would be a very small application, or maybe very small feature which doesn't need that much effort. But actually, test plans will look like this, a huge document. This is a test plan, okay? So test plan changes with reviews, right? So maybe test lead has created this, test manager will give some comments, test plan also will get a review. So the version will change to version 1.1, like that. Who has reviewed who is the contributor, and what is the description. Description means what is the change in there. That's how it gets changed. Now see this, you can see already the like table of contents is huge. So introduction, here also scope, in scope, out scope, quality objective, roles and responsibilities. See, developer, what are their roles? Getting my point? Adapter, what are their roles? Testing process management team, what are their roles? Assumption of test execution, constraints of test execution. Constraints means, as I said, like what you face difficulty or what you think it may come into your execution cycle that it may disrupt you. Definitions, test methodology, purpose, usability testing, unit testing, multiple times it may go, like iteration regression testing, final release testing, testing completeness criteria, test levels, build acceptance test, smoke test, bug regression testing, critical path testing, standard test, suggested test, bug regression, bug triage. Triage means how you'll define the bugs and all. Okay. Suspension criteria, resumption requirements, test completeness, standard conditions, bug reporting, triage conditions, test deliverables. So you can see what are the test deliverables we are getting here. This is just unstructured deliverables matrix. Here you can see what are the documents you are giving. Test plan actually comes into a document. Just the deliverables, they have broken it. One deliverable is for the output, one deliverable is for the documents. So you can put it together, no issues. Defect tracking and debugging, how the defects should be tracked, and defect reporting using GForge. They are giving using the GForge actually. Yeah, I told you, right? There will be different in number of fields which you have to fill, which fields would be mandatory, which where do you have to put which word. These things are important. See, fields and comments. Now reports, what type of different reports you are giving, what are the different reports you need, like that you have to take. Resource environment needs, what are the environments you are going to go ahead with. These things you will be covering here, as I said, right? So these things are, one second, these things are important here. Like all these 16 steps are important. I think you guys can go to the Java T point and check this structure out. Okay, I think that would be all for today. I have another call to jump on 10:45, so let's connect tomorrow. Okay, and
Yeah.
we'll discuss about the RTM and test closure. If you guys have any doubts, so come up with the doubts tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Amitabh.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.